Let's talk about why, when a man is so interested in you and he shows he's interested, you know he's interested in you, suddenly pulls away. It drives the woman crazy. I know, I've been there several times until I started healing my attachment wounds. But I want to get into the why. Why does this happen? So technically, because men and women, they operate differently. I highly recommend you read the book Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gray. He is a relationship counselor who talks about the differences and why men and women operate differently, what their needs are. And when a man really likes you, oftentimes this can cause a lot of stress on a man. So they actually pull away. And it's not an excuse, because I know, and I've mentioned this, I remember I mentioned this in the very, very first video that I made in regards to twin flames. Not all men will pursue a woman that he likes because of the fear. And it's true. The reason why this happens is because a man focuses on how he can provide. That is his fundamental purpose. It is his goal, is how can I provide? Now, in comes a woman that he really likes, and he's like, oh my God, how can I provide for this high value woman? And this is why it happens a lot on the twin flame journey or any soulmate journey, any spiritual kind of connection, when a man feels very insecure, or when a person, I don't like to say man, because I know this happens to women too who are on the twin flame journey, for example. It's like the avoidant type. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to say man and woman, okay? So when a man feels threatened, feels intimidated, he goes into panic because he really likes this high value woman. And this happens a lot on spiritual connections or with women who are spiritual. This is why so many women who are spiritual and have done so much inner work, and they're just like really confident, vibrating high, they cannot keep a man for very long. They cannot hold him there because they go into panic. He sees her as very high valued. He puts her on a pedestal, and his whole mind is like, how am I going to work on myself? How am I going to heal these insecurities? How I don't feel worthy of her. I'm going to suppress my emotions and I'm going to run for the hills. And this is why I've talked about in a lot of my other videos that many times men, when they feel threatened, they feel intimidated by a woman, even though he is so absolutely crazy about her, oftentimes go to a woman that is not as intimidating, that does not bring out their shadows, that does not bring out the insecurities, because he's like, oh no, I'm chill here. My emotions are calm, okay? Why? Because men have been conditioned to not use their emotions. Men have suppressed their emotions for far too long. They're conditioned to not be vulnerable, to not be expressive, whereas women are very expressive with our words. We love poetry, we love songs, and men love it too. Secretly, they do love it. Secretly, men are very, very romantic. But if they have a lot of trauma, wounding, especially with past relationships where they've been burned, where they've had controlling girlfriends, or they've had a mother that was either overbearing, a mother that was smothering to them, or a mother that was absent in their life, a mother that was, or a caregiver that was not really around, they're not going to know how to deal with their emotions. This is why the anxious and avoidant attachment really goes into play in these connections, okay? And why we have to heal our abandonment wounds, our anxious attachment style, our insecurities, our inner child, and why men oftentimes have to heal their avoidant attachment style and stop running from themselves, stop running from love, stop running from their connection, stop running from healing themselves, and learn how to be vulnerable and learn to express themselves and learn to tap into their feelings. But it's hard. It's very possible. I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's very possible to do, but a man is almost wired, just been so conditioned, deeply conditioned and programmed for them not to be that way, not to be expressive and vulnerable with their feelings. So what happens when a man starts to pull away? Even though you know he's interested, he messages you, he tells you he's crazy about you, and oh, I miss you, I like you, and all, whatever, he's expressing his feelings to you. You know that there's that tension, that raw, that sexual energy. You know there's that magnetism, that pull. And all of a sudden they pull away. The moment the woman, the anxious attachment, starts feeling very anxious and needy and pressures them, but why? Why the sudden leave? Why are you pulling away? why this, why that, that is going to push them away even further. Okay? Because a man is not pulling away because he doesn't like you or because he's uninterested. He is pulling away to gather his feelings and his thoughts, and he's like, okay, I need to chill. This is too much. I need to understand what's going on. Because again, they don't know how to deal with all their feelings because they're so used to thinking logically and not with their heart that it becomes too much. So the more a woman pressures them into pick me, choose me, love me, the more it pushes them away. So what is a woman supposed to do in this case? This is why it is so important, just as the twin flame journey and as any journey, in your own personal journey. That's why I say the twin flame journey is actually a spiritual journey. It is a journey back to yourself. That's why it is very important for you to work on those insecurities, work on that anxious attachment, work on your abandonment wounds, work on your rejection wound, okay? So that you are confident, you are steady, you are stable. You do not care if the man pulls away. Sure, it stings a little, but you go back to being yourself. You go back to focusing on yourself. Go back to vibing high, glowing up, focusing on your projects, the things that you need to do, because you are whole and complete on your own. And the moment you do that and you continue that and you stick to that, you are giving the man space to focus on himself, focus on understanding what's going on up here in his feelings, in his thoughts, to gather strength to come back. Sometimes men and avoidance, they need time and space to gather their thoughts, to gather their feelings. The more you push them and pressure them, the further they go away. Okay, that's why it's all about you focusing on yourself. Men also have a fear of rejection. Men do not like to fail because, again, their role is to provide. So if they feel that they might fail and get rejected by this high value woman, they're going to lose themselves. And a man does not want to lose himself in his feelings. He wants to make sure that he is adequate, that he's prepared enough for this woman, for this high value woman. So if your man needs time and space, give him time and space. I'm not saying wait around for that man, okay? I'm saying you focus on yourself. If your man is not ready, then he's not ready. That does not mean you fix him. That does not mean you wait around for him. That does not mean you accept breadcrumbs and allow the bare minimum. It means you give him time and space. Don't be clingy. Don't be needy. It means stay in your Empress energy. Hold back. You don't need to keep texting him. You don't need to resent him. You don't need to be mad at him. This is exactly why on the twin flame journey, a lot of divine masculines, because they have so much work to do because of all the conditioning and programming that they have, they need a lot of time before they come in, which is why I say it's all about divine timing. And why so many divine feminines right now don't feel like waiting around for the divine masculine, but that's because they're not supposed to wait around for the divine masculine. They have to love themselves. They have to know their self-worth. Doesn't mean they resent their twin either. There's a fine balance to everything. This journey, your self journey, your spiritual journey, it is a journey back to self, having balance, yin and yang within yourself, masculine and feminine within yourself, feeling whole and complete on your own. That person does not complete you. You are whole and complete, and they add to you. They add that love to you. But only when two people have worked on themselves can they be together, when they are secure and they've worked on their inner child. That's it. That is why this happens.